Blended Podcasts. Brought to you by Blended Audio.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Talos Talks Shit. This is a bit of a special episode. We're not really focusing on any one specific topic. Sort of taking everything we've been speaking about over the last 16 episodes and trying to bring it together. One of the reasons I'm doing this is because the next couple of episodes we're doing is going to be a total departure from AI. We're going to be doing some stuff on immersive audio and virtual reality environments, immersive therapy for people, all sorts of interesting stuff, but that's totally separate subject. So this is a bit of a discussion, a bit of a shit talk about where AI is going, some of our thoughts and concerns and interesting observations. And I want to start this by talking about something called the bitter lesson. So the bitter lesson is by this guy, Richard Sutton.
He invented reinforcement learning. Well, he's like a OG.
He's an OG, yeah,
of reinforcement learning.
So he, unfortunately for him, he's been around for 2 AI winters, I think. So he has a pretty, not skeptical, but grounded view of AI progress. So basically, the bitter lesson is AI researchers try to build knowledge into their agents. This pursuit is personally satisfying to the engineer.
It's like intellectually satisfying.
Intellectually satisfying because they're building human knowledge, or what they think human knowledge, into the agent. And it's beneficial short term because it has these amazing results and game-winning AIs and whatever. But it plateaus because, as we've seen very clearly, especially with OpenAI 5, compute reigns supreme. So it plateaus simply because of compute. This plateau has seemed to leave somewhat of a bitter taste in society's mouth because we've had these awesome advancements, these seemingly endless possible horizons presented to us that don't amount to much. As we know, there was an AI winter in the 50s and 60s, another one in the 80s, and it's only really restarted now, and there may even be another AI winter. And that leaves a bitter taste in the public's mouth, and that affects AI in that funding is cut, there's less likely to be research, fewer people are pushing more advanced problems, all of these things. And finally, what usually happens is that a breakthrough arrives by an opposing approach based on scaling computation by search and learning. Non-human approaches.
Yeah.
Perfect example is a Monte Carlo tree search.
Yeah, so like Alpha, for example, AlphaGo versus AlphaZero, right? So like AlphaGo learned from like human players first.
Right.
And then AlphaZero just threw that away and just threw compute at it. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but without that compute, AlphaZero isn't as robust of an algorithm. And also, the jump from previous AI in the 80s to the AI we have now is mostly a jump in
compute.
Not in compute, but there's been a lot of new novel approaches. Things like generative adversarial networks, larger neural nets, more understanding of hidden layers. These things, the way it is progressing is exactly as Sutton says.
But all the ideas were made in the 50s, right?
Exactly. So, but we figured out not only that we have more compute, but how to utilize that compute to solve the problem. So we wonder if maybe AI is going to plateau, because
I suspect so, dude.
I also suspect so. I think it is plateauing right now, to be completely honest. I think I don't think there's going to be much major innovation in the next 2 to 3 years.
You want to bet money on that?
Yeah, let's take a little bit, dude. Let's see. Episode 16.
You heard it here first, folks.
Refer back to this episode. If we're still going 2 years from now, we're going to see exactly what's happened, because even the hide and seek. The fact that autocurricular arose from a hide and seek is amazing. But the way it works is no different to the Atari playing system or the AI 5 or anything like that. So the next step of AI is what some people call AGI, artificial general intelligence, or super AI. And this goes back to what I said a couple of episodes ago about this great filter idea.
Yeah.
Do you know about the great filter?
It's like
The cosmic great filter.
It's like linked to the Fermi paradox, right?
Exactly. So the Fermi paradox is, I hope I don't butcher this too much, but basically relates to extraterrestrial life and why we haven't encountered it.
Mm-hmm.
So basically there are so many billions of planets in the universe that the odds of two spacefaring civilizations existing at the same time is very low. So the Fermi paradox is that...
So you should say high, right? We should see someone.
No, low. That's the Fermi paradox. The Fermi paradox explains why we haven't found aliens.
It's high, but we haven't seen it, therefore we're confused. It's like...
Oh, is that the paradox?
Yeah, the paradox is like we should see something, but like we haven't, and it seems like a paradox. Like a high probability event hasn't occurred.
Right, which potentially leads to the outcome that life is A, rare in the universe, or B, that life is fairly common in the universe and seems to develop along a similar timescale as to what we have, but gets to this point that we're at now where we've got impending environmental catastrophe, we've got societal collapse going on all over the place, we're essentially reaching a point where we don't know if the world 50 years from now is going to be inhabitable, let alone better than the world we have now. And this sort of leveling out of culture and society may be a universal phenomenon. It may be very difficult, it may be just as difficult for life forms to progress from the stage of war and nuclear weapons to peace and universal interaction, true spacefaring, advanced civilization, as it is difficult for a single cell organism to evolve into dual cell organisms.
Yeah, that's really good.
It might be multi-great filters. Multiple great filters. So the idea is that we're in this great filter stage now, and that we're either going to die off, or we're going to be able to become a truly galactic civilization and from that solve all society's problems.
Yeah.
But tied into this very intimately is artificial intelligence, because if we want to get to that point, we're going to need things beyond what we are currently humanly capable of.
Yeah.
And we are going to need AGI.
Yeah.
Basically, as soon as we solve AGI, we may get past the great filter, or solving AGI may be the great filter in itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I will say that, like, so you could create an AGI that's just an extremely smart human, right? It would still count as an artificially general intelligent, like, being, right? But it's like, what we really think about is it's something that's like on a different level to us, right? It's like almost like this godly thing.
Super intelligence.
Yeah, and like it brings up the question, so Masi, like, tell me what you think about this. So, we think that like agents improve, right?
Right.
So you could be like V1 Spock or V0, version 0 Spock, V1 Spock, V2 Spock, and each time it gets better and better and better.
Right.
Right? Now, it like brings up like this interesting question of, first of all the algorithms that we have now, think about it, like vision algorithms, right? Go playing algorithm. Oh, actually, Go playing is the best, because what Monte Carlo tree search does is that it has a way of improving its own self, right?
Okay.
Humans don't have that. I mean, you can read and improve yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's no way of making a V2 Massimo, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Now, check this out. So, we do have a roundabout way of doing it, and it's having children, right?
Okay.
And then instilling knowledge into the future generations.
Okay.
And that's how we get better as society. Or what we do is like we amass knowledge,
Right.
we have children, and then we like install the software into them called like humanity, civilization.
Societal knowledge. Right.
Knowledge,
Okay,
right?
got you.
Now, it's a pretty slow process, right? It happens on average, like every, like, what's the average? 30 years or something, right? Like each generation or something. And in that, it's very inefficient, because there's a whole wide, like, variation. Your kids aren't guaranteed to have like
to
a
be
minimum.
smarter than you.
Yeah,
exactly.
And
yeah.
they don't come pre-installed with quantum theory, right?
Right.
They
Yeah.
spend like the first like 30 years learning the stuff.
Yeah.
And only then can they progress, right?
Right.
So it's like, whatever agent that we have, it first has to like figure out a more efficient way of improving itself, right? And then the question is this, right? And we were talking about it outside for a bit. Say I'm V1 Spock, right?
So,
I'm better than
you V1 AGI with human level intelligence.
Yeah, right. And say I'm like better than humans, I can subjugate them, but I know that if I produce V2, he's going to be better than me and able to subjugate me, right? And I'm a totally rational being. Is it in my interest to actually make the V2?
Well, first of all, we have to decide whether at this point in time it's going to be possible to upload consciousness into a network. Because this is another thing. Because so it's very easy to think of AGI as like flipping on the switch and then like this thing just gets all this data and it's flipping the smartest all of a sudden, you know. But by the time we get to that point, we're going to have so many novel algorithms to incorporate, you know. And as you say, you can create an AGI that's human level intelligence. You can create an AGI that's beyond human level intelligence. You can also create an AGI that's like cat level intelligence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's definitely going to be a step along the road. So as far as your question goes, at that point,
We're at the cat level.
no, well, at the point of whether V1 Spock
Yeah.
is thinking of creating V2 Spock,
Yeah.
there will have been so many levels of intelligence that we'll have to wonder whether intelligence in general and consciousness in general will be a computable thing, right? So can we turn consciousness into compute? And if we can turn consciousness into compute, feasibly V1 Spock would be able to go, okay, well, doesn't make sense to create V2 version of me.
Yeah.
It just makes sense to turn me into V2 version of me.
Yeah, so self-improvement, right?
Yeah, but like, so without any previous agent to subjugate.
So it's the difference between having kids and improving yourself.
Exactly,
right?
but now it's the difference between taking your entirety of consciousness, putting it on a server, a machine, the internet, improving on both your physical and mental structure, you know, improving on the ability to see, communicate, move, interact, whatever, and then re-uploading it back there. And if we can do that at that point, surely we will at least have tried to do it with human consciousness as well.
It might not be possible.
It might not be possible. So this is the thing. We don't know if the AI is going to be able to figure this out. But now this is
and
also...
even if it was in principle possible, right?
Exactly.
Like,
even
the
if
AI
it
might
would
be like, why would I want... I'm better than you. It's like, why would we want dog consciousness upload or like ant consciousness uploaded into human minds, right?
Right, yeah.
It makes
no sense. Yeah. And then also, you know, what we were talking about earlier is that Spock V1, in the context we're talking about here, its final solution, you know, its final outcome or its final goal, to achieve that, it may employ methods that are incredibly aggressive to everyone else except for the AI. You know? So as I was talking about that wetland, you know, what if that happens, but just with the whole planet and, you know, the entirety of humanity? What if the super AI manages to figure out that the only way to save the planet is to actually create nuclear warfare and then essentially push humanity to the brink of extinction while selecting what it views as the smartest people and then starting with like a new human zoo almost thing, you know?
But I mean, I always find those arguments strange because I'm like, why would your AI care about humans? Like,
okay, so great part to get into the paperclip problem. Do you want to say the paperclip problem?
So the example is, so as we currently understand, like just machine learning, I'm not going to say AI, but I'm going to say machine learning because it's like AI might have like
more
cognitive science and it might have other things. So the idea is like you're always trying to maximize or minimize some loss function. Right? You're trying to like do the best you can at a particular task.
Right.
And what the paperclip problem is like, suppose you're like a paperclip company and you create this AI, right? And its job is to maximize the number of paperclips made because you think like that will lead to like the most profit or something. I don't know.
Right.
But it just wants to maximize paperclips.
Yeah,
Right?
make the most paperclips possible.
Right. What, like, if it doesn't care about itself and it doesn't care about like other things, what it will do is that it will just figure out, well, I guess like I could just turn all the resources onto Earth into this big giant plant, and I could like use the resources from the sun to like colonize like this and just make paperclips.
Right, and then even further, assuming that this AI has all the knowledge of physics
Yeah.
and all the knowledge of quantum physics
Yeah.
that we have, and assuming that the knowledge of, I think we can say like classical physics, we pretty much know what's going on.
There's some unsolved problems.
There are, but there's no real potential for like a massive fundamental misunderstanding. You know?
Okay, yeah, misunderstanding.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they're like, we fundamentally misunderstood physics.
Yeah.
But quantum physics, there's the potential that there's a massive misunderstanding.
Yeah.
So that we've just totally misunderstood the whole
And
thing.
no one really understands quantum physics like in like a very intuitive sense.
Or in any sense, really.
It's like a famous quote by Richard Feynman. He was like, anyone that says they understand quantum mechanics doesn't actually understand.
Yeah.
Well, it was either him or Bohr, but like some like badass.
Yeah, and wasn't it Bohr who said, the more I understand quantum physics, the more I believe in God?
Yeah.
One of the OGs said that. So it is a mystery. So now, this paperclip algorithm,
Yeah.
it's producing your paperclips. First, it takes all the resources on Earth, natural resources on Earth, turns them into paperclips. Then it starts farming the resources from the sun and shit, turn that into paperclips. Then it's run out of resources in the immediate observable universe. So it starts to turn the atomic and subatomic structure of the universe into paperclips.
Yeah.
Because-
Whatever that means. But like
But now this is the
point
thing.
is-
It's first implying that this AI has the understanding to do that.
Yeah.
And second, it's implying that. So I know Steven Pinker thinks this is a pretty shitty argument because it's like, if your AI is smart enough to understand how the universe works,
Yeah.
why would it make paperclips?
Yeah.
But you raised a really good argument to that in that.
Yeah, so I suggest everyone checks out a YouTube channel by a guy called Rob Miles because he like actually like
Shout out to Rob Miles.
Yeah. But there are a whole bunch of like ideas. So let's just say that like our algorithm wants to make paperclips, right? And it's a pretty dumb, like, it doesn't, like, why would you just want to make paperclips?
Yeah.
Right? But what he says is that like what the algorithm will like figure out is that like, well, the best way to make paperclips is to ensure, because someone will be like, well, just turn the algorithm off. Right. And the response is, well, what the algorithm will realize is that if I ever get turned off, I can't make more paperclips. So before making any more paperclips, I should make sure I'm never able to be turned off.
There we go.
Right? And then he'll go even further. He'll be like, well, making paperclips is way easier if I understand physics and if I like run the world economy, right? And like, so it'll do all the things that like a smart agent that doesn't care about paperclips does, just because those things are helpful in making more paperclips.
Exactly. So now this is where it gets tricky, is because currently we're creating AI with set goals, right? And I'm really bleak. I can't remember who said this, but it was one of the leading AI scientists, and he said potentially the only way to create safe AI is to create AI without a defined goal.
Yeah.
Because it's a problem that goes from paperclips to self-driving to image generation to pretty much everything in that. We think that there are certain ways to optimize systems.
Yeah.
But with broader knowledge trees and just the ability to run potential outcomes faster,
Yeah.
we can expand our knowledge base. Or algorithms can expand their knowledge base and create new indirect approaches to solve those problems. Exactly as the paperclip problem. You know, first it figures out how to how to run the world economy, then it figures out how to never be turned off.
Yeah.
And so on. So perhaps what has to happen is that the AI has to be broad. So undoubtedly someone creating AI somewhere is going to try some sort of human-centric approach to it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there is going to be someone who tries to create an AI that must save humanity, almost increase societal progress, or it's bound to happen. And when you say you don't understand why AI would care for humans,
Yeah.
I feel like that may be a result of outcome-based AI.
No, because it can just rewrite its code, right? So no matter what you code in, right?
Yeah.
It can rewrite it. So you can't fix in stone. And like just like another point. So you follow that Lex Friedman podcast, right? So this guy came on like Francois Chalet, I think it's Chalet or whatever, but he said like one of the most mind-blowing things ever. And he was like, there already does exist an AI, right? It's called science. Right? So think about this, right? Science, you have these individual actors, a whole bunch of PhD students all over the world, right? And they improve like their knowledge about the world by like doing experiments and using the scientific method. It's almost like reinforcement learning, right? Like the bad papers make it.
I see.
Yeah. But this is what he says, right? If you look at the progress of science, it's approximately linear, right?
Okay.
But if you look at the resource consumption, it's exponential. So people always assume that we're going to have an exponential increase in AI, right? Which is to say that like this self-improvement algorithm is recursive. It improves on itself and it keeps improving, and this recursive nature makes it exponential. But why do we assume that? If you look at science, it uses way more, like the rate of like consumption use that it has to the rate of progress is linear. And it's the closest thing to AI we have right now.
Right.
And the question is, as a matter of principle, right, is it possible for exponential self-improvement? Is it like as a mathematical statement?
Okay, as a mathematical...
Yeah, does there exist an algorithm such that this algorithm improves whatever like our definition of intelligence is, and if I look at that algorithm and compare what its improvement rate is, can I always guarantee that it's going to be better than the last iteration by some factor, which makes it exponential?
Right.
I'm not convinced. It's not
clear from what's currently happening that would happen.
Science says that it's linear.
Okay, that is a very interesting thing to ponder for the end of our episode here.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what I think of that. I'll get back to you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Let us know what you think. Please comment on our videos on Facebook and Instagram. And please join us next week for some immersive reality in virtual environments.
Sounds dope, dude.
Yeah, simulations, bruh. Woo. Thank you very much, Pubby, for blowing my mind and leaving me with something to think about. Thank you, Blended Podcasts, for the opportunity to record here and promoting us. And thank you, everyone involved, for the tunes, the space, and for listening. Hope to catch you guys soon. Cheers.